This is When the Fuck Did I Become Old? The fun, edgy and unapologetically honest podcast about the experiences of ageing, where, as the name suggests, nothing is off the table. And I'm Jo Parker.
And I'm Kev.
So today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about menopause and mainly about how men cope with menopausal women. And I want to use you as an example because we started seeing each other as I was post-menopausal. So actually what I didn't realise was the menopause is just one day. One day. It's 12 months after your last period. That's your menopause.
Right.
Everything else is pre or post or peri.
Right.
So I was post-menopausal when I met you.
Did you know?
I don't think I did. No, don't think I knew. I mean, I knew that I was no longer having periods,
Right.
but I didn't know that I was post-menopausal and acting out.
Okay.
So, but when I met you, you had been through this experience with a previous partner, hadn't you?
I had.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what do you remember of that? What did you actually go through, and do you remember it?
So my previous partner, you're right. My previous partner was 50 when I started dating her. So 50 to 54 was the time we were together.
Yeah.
And I think she had probably just entered. Well, you're going to tell me the menopause is a
It was
day
one day.
now. Okay, right. Okay,
So she was peri.
I think it's hard to measure because she didn't have periods anyway because she had a coil fitted because she had endometriosis.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
So I can't measure it from that.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure she had just entered the menopause at the point at which we were getting together.
Okay.
And then went on quite a journey over that period of time. So
And you went with it, through it with her.
Yeah. And she did a HRT, obviously a lot of people do, and experienced getting the HRT right took a while. But I mean, I think one of the original triggers, I think, was, there was some weight gain in early menopause. So that phenomenon, which a lot of people experience, there had been a lack of libido prior to meeting me and prior to starting HRT. So I think the HRT was in part kind of a response to that, right? Because you start to question as a woman,
what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? Why do I feel like this? Why am I not interested? That sort of thing. Definitely the volatility on mood, but again, like the trouble with menopause is it often coincides with a bunch of other things. So I can't delineate.
Did you recognise it as menopause at the time?
Well, at the time, not all of it,
Right.
because my previous partner to that was only 45, so I hadn't experienced it. I'd never experienced it before.
Yeah.
But the partner I was with was a single mum, ran her own business, so you got a fair amount of stress there, right? So there's all sorts of good reasons to be stressed out about a variety of bits and pieces. So how much of that is that factor versus the menopause? Hard to weigh out, right?
Yeah.
But certainly, there was volatility of mood swings. There was a dissatisfaction with the aging process itself, right?
Yeah.
And wanting to look different, be different.
Yeah.
And some of the HRT stuff definitely helped with that. So I kind of went on that journey, discovering a lot more about HRT, discovering a lot more about the various choices available in terms of the balance of estrogen, progesterone, to even testosterone, right? All of that. And she was sufficiently passionate about it that she set up her own website and sort of Instagram feed on that whole topic. So that became her kind of like raison d'etre for a couple of years. And so
you lived the whole menopause.
I became quite knowledgeable.
Yeah. Which is unusual because most men, one, don't become knowledgeable, and two, don't go through it twice.
True.
So lucky me, because you've been through it by the time I met you, which is fab. You'd been through the menopause.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, was she able to voice what was going on for her, or did you have to guess it?
Was she able to voice through? So certainly the symptoms were voiced. I think once we'd started the HRT journey, then that was all pretty transparent in terms of ups and downs and trying to get the balance of that right.
Yeah.
So that was certainly evident. I mean, the weight thing is a challenge, right? Because again, that fluctuates if you change the hormone balance, right? That also changes your ability to either gain or shed weight.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, not that it was a major issue, but I know from the challenge, I think, well, I can't speak on behalf of all women, but there's a self-image challenge there, right? And you're just unhappy about maybe you've put a few pounds on or whatever, and you're just not happy about it. It's not necessarily a bad thing, not necessarily obvious to other people, but you don't like it, right? So you know about it.
Yeah.
So I was familiar with that kind of, familiar with that, what's that? It's a self-esteem thing, right? So it's the impact on self-esteem, which, you just need to be supportive to.
Yeah. So when we started dating, I don't think I was as aware of the menopause and the emotional, psychological effects on me.
No.
Okay. As you were.
No.
Possibly. Or could have been. So having come into the relationship, knowing that you had been in a previous relationship that I think you were still grieving was a bit of a challenge in as much as I was already suffering from self-esteem problems. I had been ghosted by a previous person that I'd met on the internet, as you know. So I wasn't feeling confident about who I was, what I could bring to the relationship, what I looked like without my clothes on. And I think it was kind of made worse because I was menopausal, made worse because I definitely felt I was being compared to somebody else.
Right.
Which is actually, I think, what a lot of women do is they are worried that they are being compared to younger models as well, younger versions of themselves. I mean, it is something that is there and does happen, but in the menopause, because everything else is so erratic and so you're changing so much, it's really difficult to pin down who you are in terms of style and what you look like, what your skin does, what your hair does, what your teeth, your eyes. I mean, the whole thing is just a complete fucking quagmire of stuff that happens to you. And I don't know whether you realize it at the time, but or you just think, actually, no, I'm not very, very confident and I don't want to go out and I don't like myself, etc. But I was going through that. Perhaps I shouldn't have started dating. I was going through it when I met you.
Right. So not all of that was immediate. Some of that was evident.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I don't think I did. Well, I didn't know. You go on your first date, you don't go, oh, by the way, are you menopausal yet? And are you on HRT? So we didn't have that conversation.
No, we didn't.
But by the time that you were ready to share that the menopause was a thing for you, I can't even remember how many months in there was, but it was probably like 3 months into our relationship, I'm guessing.
We had a pivotal moment as well. So it was we were kind of skating around us and a previous relationship that you had, and then we were sabotaged by somebody in my circle of friends, and we had some sticky moments, and after, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, there was a feeling that you had actively chosen me.
There was, yes.
And what was that then, Kev? How did you actively choose moi?
So as you say, there were some external challenges at the time, not created by us.
Not just menopausal.
No, absolutely no. Yeah. So a bit of catfishing going on, but so it wasn't. It was still early days, and it was starting to look a bit tricky, and I was quite angry with the individuals involved that had executed that particular manoeuvre.
Yeah.
So
I wonder what you thought I was. You thought I had.
Yeah. Well, I did.
At
At one point, I did think you were behind it. Yeah, but it turns out you weren't.
So, just for a brief explanation, somebody found Kev still on the dating site which we met on, and decided to test him to see whether or not he was active and going to be, can he engage him in interaction and possibly a date to see whether or not he was actually being true to me or whether or not he was actually being a player. And you called her out.
I did.
Thought I had actually asked her to do it.
Yeah.
And that's where we almost fell apart.
Yeah. So so I didn't take the bait, and I totally caught her on that one. But I was really pissed off that as a technique, I was like, what the fuck's that all about?
That you thought I was involved in.
Yeah. Because I couldn't figure out any other way. Like, why would they do that? Why would someone from the same village, 40 miles away from where I live, all of a sudden randomly approach me on a dating app? Like, it's a bit suspicious, right? Anyway, so as a result of that, one of my mates thought he'd help me out, and seeing as I was being unfairly treated, he said, "I'll set you up on a blind date, Kev, with my wife's cousin." So I thought, well, nothing to lose there, because I was pissed off at the time anyway. So I did go out on a date, which I never told you about until about a week ago.
Until we were discussing what topics we were going to talk about in the podcast.
So I did go out on a date, and so there I was on a date in the middle of Covent Garden with a lady a good 10 years younger than me.
So my biggest dread, someone being replaced by a younger model. Yeah.
And I'd recently given up smoking, and she was still smoking. So I'm smoking Marlboro Lights, which were my favourite brand. So that was challenging in itself. I was like, oh, fucking hell, I can't have a fag. That's going to be bad. It's okay going out on a date, but, having a cigarette, that would be terrible. But there were moments during that evening where I remember being in that cocktail bar, and I mean, she was nice enough, but I was thinking, actually, I'd rather be here with Joe. I would rather be here with Joe. And so that was kind of a pivotal moment where whatever the frustrations were in the outside world, kind of like put them to one side and went, actually, no, I'd like to be with Joe.
So what you actually told me was that I know that you had been seeing a counsellor, and you, because of the previous breakup and other things, but what you told me was that you told your counsellor that you no longer needed her services because I was all you needed, type thing.
Yeah. So at my next therapy session, I did go in and we talked about stuff. And
but you talked about the date too, didn't you?
And I talked about the date as well. And I said, I don't think I need to see you anymore. I think I know what I need to do. And that was it. So then when I told you about that, then so when I told you about the counselling bit and the fact I'd stopped that.
Yeah.
What did that change for you?
So it made me feel like you had chosen me, right? It made me feel like actually, and I didn't know there was a blind date involved. I just thought it was actually you had decided, because there was a threat. The threat that was hanging over me was that, I mean, I couldn't match 3 months. I couldn't match 3.5 years of a relationship. So there was always that, what if they got back together type thing. And, what there would be. So there was, but at that point, I thought that you had decided I was, the one from your ex rather than from a date. Right. But that's okay, because it did have a positive effect on me. And I felt then that you were, I don't know, more committed to the relationship and more present in the relationship. Because up until that point, there was a bit of an angry person who'd been treated badly type thing, and also possibly by me as well. So, but you kind of softened a bit.
Right. And so what did that enable you to do then with regards to your menopause experience? How did that moment change what you shared with me about the menopause?
Well, the moment changed because you changed. So at that point, you then suggested I look at HRT, having noticed some of the things that were going on for me, and particularly the things that were going on for me was UTIs, which weren't necessarily sex-induced UTIs. UTIs, needing to go to the loo a lot, especially at night, when I hadn't been drinking a lot of water. Sleep. I had problems with my sleep. I had heart palpitations, and I had anxiety. So so that what happened was that when when I was stressed and my adrenal system kicked in, in that fight or flight thing, I couldn't calm my adrenals down. So I was constantly in a sort of state of, and so you suggested that I did HRT.
I did.
Yeah. Now, if you hadn't been in a relationship with somebody else who'd gone through that, would you have known to suggest it?
I wouldn't have known.
No.
I wouldn't have known.
No.
No.
So, and then there were moments where I didn't feel like I had to hide the menopause, and up until that point, I didn't really, until we discussed the menopause, I didn't actually realize how menopausal I was. But I didn't realize I had to hide the menopause because you knew how to handle it, having been through it before. So there were moments when I withdrew, because I just couldn't face things. I was too upset, too hurt. I just wanted to run away from it, all that fight or flight adrenal thing. I just withdrew, and you would gently coach me out of it.
Yeah.
And there were moments, there's one particular moment when I got stressed, which I behaved like a child. I had a tantrum on the drive. So I'd arrived at your house on midday-ish. You were working from home, and I needed to work from home and failed to bring my laptop. So it's a 40-mile, it's an 80-mile journey round trip.
80-mile round trip, yeah.
Yeah. And I behaved appallingly. I was stamping my feet, etc. And you offered...
Which is kind of funny a little bit to me, because I'm like, well, you're the one who didn't bring the laptop.
I know.
You were
I'm
absolutely
furious with
fuming.
myself. Yeah, absolutely furious with myself. And then, of course, I'm mortified that I'd behaved that way, and suddenly realised that actually what I had done is I hadn't actually put my patch on, so therefore I'd taken a break in my HRT, or I was doing something, I don't know, I'd taken about 2 weeks off HRT, and it was failing.
Yeah, that wasn't working out.
It wasn't, yeah. So I didn't realise what an impact HRT was having on me. But you, bless you, suggested going to pick it up from my house, which is like, it's so lovely, but you don't need to do that. But I was mortified all the way down back to my house. I go, no, I really don't think I can actually face him again, having behaved that badly. But because you didn't throw it in my face or respond or react in a negative way and tell me to grow up, which you could easily have done, because I think I might have done that to myself. It allowed me to just sort of like, yeah, I did that. Let's just brush that piece of behaviour under the carpet. Once I'd realised actually I have been 2 weeks without HRT, therefore could be a reason for the adrenal system to have kicked in and not actually stopped. So yeah, but you allowed me to go through it.
Right.
And I genuinely think that because of what you had been through previously, so not a lot of men get the pleasure of going through menopause with two women.
Multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times, but hopefully only with two, for numerous reasons. But I genuinely think that there was a moment around that time when the HRT was working, and when I started to feel I was okay in it.
Right.
Where your previous relationship was no longer a threat, and it became a gift, because I was lucky to be in a relationship with a man that understood the menopause more than I did.
And hearing that now, what does that make you understand that you didn't understand before that moment then?
So, I mean, first of all, I hadn't been through the menopause before and you had.
Right.
Secondly, I hadn't been with a partner through the menopause and you had. And so you were the one that said, go and see a health professional, go and get the HRT. You were the one that actually just kind of were coaxing me out of it and the moods. And I probably wouldn't have done that with another person or
Right.
by myself.
Okay.
So it was massive. And once I'd been on the HRT, I started to come back to myself.
So obviously we're still playing with the prescription, as it were.
Yeah, I still am playing with the prescription as we speak.
But then after you got on to like a decent HRT sort of combination, what changes did you notice for yourself about you, about what came back to you as a person?
So I no longer had the UTIs, which was lovely. I no longer had heart palpitations or anxiety or mood swings. I no longer needed to go to the loo a lot at night unless I'd done copious amounts of water before I went to bed, because I tend to do that anyway because I don't drink. I like to drink water, but I don't drink enough, so therefore I do it all at night. Because I felt seen, and because you were encouraging me to be myself and allowing me to be myself, I felt more able to explore who I was as a menopausal woman, i.e. in my style, in my looks, in my playfulness, I just relaxed into it, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if it hadn't been for you.
So you were calmer. The mood swing thing was...
Didn't really have any mood swings.
Right. So that was...
Apart
So
from
that
when I did
tantrum thing.
Yeah.
Apart from that.
Apart from that. Do you remember me having any mood
No.
swings?
Yeah. No, not...
I think some of them... So as most of the listeners know, I haven't sorted out sleep.
No.
And so some of my moods are, I think, now a direct
sleep
reflection
deprivation.
of sleep deprivation. So I sometimes...
But your confidence, your personal confidence, you felt more confident in yourself as a woman after that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean, I started to feel more confident again, rather than lack the confidence and stuff. So, yeah.
And were relaxed enough to, as you say, become more playful and just have more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I wanted to do was because you directed me to Louise Newson and her app Balance, and she has on that somewhere on her website or app 10 ways that you could support your partner through menopause. So I just want to...
If only I'd known there was a handbook.
Well, you'll see actually that you have actually lived the handbook. But for those that don't have to go through the menopause twice, I will definitely put this in the show notes. So if your partner is going through the menopause, she says, 1, educate yourself.
Okay. So
the more you know about what she's experiencing, the better. And while you may never be able to truly understand how it feels, regular effort to try and understand will go a long way as you mutually support each other through the ups and downs. Many women feel lost and lonely at this time in their lives, so your love and support is more important than ever. Tick, cool. You did that. Encourage your partner to consult a health professional about her symptoms.
Definitely did that.
You've done that, absolutely. And for some women, just making an appointment is a daunting step. She may be suffering from low confidence, so offer to be there with her for moral support. Also, your mind goes blank. I know in a serious appointment, when someone's talking about my health, and I might not actually take it all in because I've zoned out.
You never wanted to be at any of those appointments, though. I don't remember going to that.
Well, it wasn't possible because you were
40 miles away.
40 miles away, and I did some of them COVID as well. So yeah. Try not to put her under undue pressure on her. The menopause can be a confusing time for you both, so now is not the time to be making big decisions. Ask yourself, can it wait? And I think you did. I didn't feel any pressure. Also resist the urge to ask her how long her menopause will last.
Yeah, I didn't ask that.
No, you didn't ask that. I wouldn't have known. Number 4, ask her what she needs. So it can feel impossible to know what your partner needs when she's struggling physically and emotionally, no matter how close you are. No one expects you to be a mind reader. And also what I think I would like to point out is that we'd also, as we're going through it, don't know what we need. So it's really difficult. Accept the silence. Resist the urge to snap back, both those that you did. Be patient and be prepared to change your plans. Many women struggle with self-confidence during menopause, and if this is coupled with crashing fatigue, it's like your partner might just want to curl up on the sofa. So, but
We've definitely had that.
yeah, we have definitely had that. However challenging life can be, don't forget to show her that you love her, which you've done, which is lovely.
Thank you.
Remember that sex during the menopause is complicated and a change of life for all. The menopause has often been referred to as a change of life. And in so many ways it is, but not just for women. We all change, men and women, both physically and emotionally as we age. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to look forward to long, happy, healthy, fulfilling lives with our husbands, wives and partners. So those are 10 things which she puts out there for men,
Yeah.
all of which you've lived.
Interestingly, I mean, the sex thing,
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a huge menopause advent there.
No, but I was already using a pessary when I met you. So that was something that I was worried about, as whether or not I wouldn't be able to perform. And the whole thing that, what does my body look like? Will he accept me? You know, am I as good as her? You know, when it just didn't know. It was something that one of my friends said I should do. So I did. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway,
So
that's
a hell of a journey.
That is a hell of a journey. And from everything that you've seen, because I know you've given people advice as well, what do you think men get wrong about menopause?
Oh my God. So I'm not sure I know the answer to that question, but I do know, I mean, bizarrely, so one of the things I do at work, mental health first aider, we actually do get briefings on menopause because it's just one of the dimensions of things that might contribute to challenges for people in the workforce. So I probably am more educated on menopause than most men, but
You've gone through it twice as well.
but what would I say? I would say educate yourself. That's what I'd say. I mean, like, come on, it's not that difficult to get your head around. It's hard to live through for the lady concerned because there can be some serious challenges there, right? But just educate yourself and be supportive. I think if you try and tackle it together, then I think it can be a successful experience, right?
Yeah,
but you have to tackle it together, and you have to do it as a partnership.
Yeah, and you have to want to, I think, as well, because I mean, there's another piece of research here that it was a mate survey, which is men's attitude to menopause, and 1,356 surveys were sent out, 450 were completed. So only 33% of men who got menopausal partners actually decided they were going to complete it. So that's a bit of lethargy to start off with. Most men observed in their partners sleepless nights and difficulty sleeping, followed by tiredness and lack of energy, low libido, mood swings, and hot flushes. The sad thing is that only 26% of those men attributed symptoms that we've talked about as menopausal,
Right.
and not aging. And of those affected by their partner's symptoms, 63% said they were affected. 77 of them said negatively they were impacted, but 11% of them, which is not a massive percentage, but it's still 11% of those people who are married, reported doing nothing about it, couldn't be bothered. Not many people actually took action on it, which is disappointing. And I think, however, going forward, there's so much more information out there that you can learn as a man. But I also think, hard as it is really difficult when you're going through it. Is for a woman, I think we lack the ability to explain what's going on for ourselves to you.
Right. But I mean, I don't think you have to explain it.
Okay.
I don't think you do. I think there's no reason why your partner shouldn't be educated about it and aware.
Okay.
Right? It's one of those things that every woman's going to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So
51% of the population. Yeah.
So I think the onus shouldn't necessarily be entirely on the woman. And I
Yeah.
suppose it depends how constructive your relationship is, right? So whether you're getting that level of support from your partner, but I don't think it's something that happens to the woman, and you sit there and go, when's she going to be over this type of thing? That's not going to work, because, as you've said, the menopause is a finite point in time. Post-menopause, the post-menopause journey is a long one,
Yeah, I'm still on it.
right? And it could be decades, right?
Yeah.
So you just, but it can be great, right? I mean, especially if you get the combination of hormones, right?
Yeah.
No libido issues at all if you get that right. So yeah, it can be a win.
Cool. Should we leave it at that then? The
I think
menopause
so.
could be a win.
Yeah. See you next week.